What?
I'm Shinigami Tabris, and we're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
The most unsettling part of that is we couldn't understand what you said.
My players are trying to screw with me, and
No, the players screwed with the players.
anyways, we don't have any we don't have any sponsors, anything like that. Just go get my merch or subscribe. That helps us with everything that we're doing. Last we left off, anybody want to fill us in?
A tinker threw out Zeke because he stinks.
That's
the primary thing you took away from last session?
Yes.
Because I had to rewatch that little segment to try and figure out something that I was trying to remember that I missed.
That's all I got.
That's funny.
And
That's all you got?
and we're going to go see that big family. You know, the family. That family.
Wow.
No, that's not where.
So
Paige, if you would give
we
a
all have a
recap.
patron, Lord Bjark, who had a beetle, a clockwork beetle, that wanted us to investigate it.
He had
And
4.
when I went to cast a spell to see what kind of magic it might be, it attacked me and attacked all of us. And then we went to try and investigate at a temple.
You forgot about it
Who
exploding.
then pointed us. What?
You forgot about it exploding.
Yes, it exploded after it attacked and died. We went to the temple to get some information, and then we went to a tinkerer, and now we're trying to go to another tinkerer at the. I lost my notes. There we go, at the barracks. The BARRACHS, the family barracks tower. We think.
Okay.
That's the family I'm
So-
trying to say.
One thing with the barracks. We were told that they had nothing to do with this because none of the pieces had their stamp on it, and they stamp every single piece that they use or that they make, including cog springs, the works. We know that the barracks have nothing to do with this
So why were we going to
Right.
them?
because they might have information.
Oh.
They might have
But-
information or know something about.
Let's also put in there's magical items floating around the city that's a danger that they didn't make. They might want them. Then we have to compete with the barracks to find them?
Sort of,
Potentially.
sort of like that.
Like I said, I do have an in with the barrack.
True.
Yeah, but only
That's
you
Timmy.
and me could go talk to
Timmy's
them
just here.
because
This is also a very fair thing. We have Whistle with us. And the barracks will not let myself nor Whistle be associated. And if you are with association with myself and Whistle, they might not talk to you either.
Right.
We do know that there's a book at the library, but the book at the library would only teach us how to make it, not where anything comes from.
I mean,
we
they
also-
said it's from. The guy said it was from Titch.
No, I made that assumption.
Yeah.
No, Tinker said
No,
something.
no, he said
Yeah.
Oh.
we have Titch
Okay, my bad.
that has made gnomes made it and elves did
Help.
the magic for it.
Yes, for the ones that was written about, the pieces that we
Yes.
let him see, he was able to confirm that gnomes and elves did work on it, but something else did as well.
Right.
So
'Cause
it's
it
not
had
just
skill.
gnomes, it's gnomes helps. It's not purely gnomish. So it's not going to be the same one as the thing in Titch.
That makes me think it's also Dwarven.
That kind of makes me think that it's local. Then we get into if it is local, who has gnomes and elves under their air quote employ?
Well, would they have them in the city or would they be in the mountains?
It could be in the mountains. They could be house slaves. Like it could be a sweatshop ordeal. Because we know slavery exists in this world.
Right. So we know the towers are pretty famous families, magical families generally.
Yes.
Yep.
What are the windmills?
They're just windmills.
But didn't you say they were about the same size?
Yeah, but think about what the size of a windmill.
It's
Right.
at the apex with one of the blades sticking straight up is the size of the tower.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was just making sure it wasn't like an unusually large windmill or something like
Nope.
that. Gotcha. Okay. Because thinking of the clockwork and things like that with windmills, that's where I was kind of wondering. Oh.
Do you think Lord Bjark would have any idea on people that own elves and slaves and other?
I mean,
He did say he has a long list of enemies, which gives me the inclination that he's kind of shady.
Kind of.
I mean, we could probably just ask Whistle.
But Whistle would just whistle at you.
And he doesn't do
Whistle
full
talks.
sentences. He doesn't do full sentences either.
No, but he might. You know, if someone has elves and gnomes in employ.
This is
or
true.
slave.
And I feel like asking Crusher is a bad idea, because I don't think his nest is exactly on the highest branch in the tree.
Neither is yours.
I'm above average intelligence.
Oh.
I can't exactly tell you how above average right now.
So what are you guys doing?
Well, they're trying to talk me out of going and talking to the barracks, so I'm not sure from this point.
I apparently stink, and I'd rather the barracks not get me arrested or executed.
Yeah. Because if, like the Tinker said, if we were associated, they destroy you.
Having got one.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's you guys' plan. I just...
Bjark specifically asked for you.
Yeah, but all I'm good at is tinkering right now.
There's also... Bjark said he had 4 of them at one point, right?
No, he said there were 4 of them, but that was the.
There were 4 of them. He had the 1, and the other 3
He...
fled.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 loose in this fucking metropolis of a city.
Yes.
And
He never mentioned which direction they saw they went.
No, he didn't.
Since we didn't ask.
I didn't ask. Go back to Bjark and tell him what we have found out so far.
Yeah. See if he has any.
And then see if he has any insight on any questions we have. And then we can also ask follow-up questions like, did they all leave out the same way? Or stuff like that.
Etc.
Are you
Yeah.
saying this out loud?
Yes.
Whistles.
Words, please.
Information. Me.
You?
Oh.
Well,
I forget that you live in the house with him.
not really.
Well, that you spend a lot of the time in the house with him.
Mm.
More than Crusher.
Mm.
Did all the beetles go out the exact same way?
You all of a sudden you see one of his sleeves like goes limp, and like you hear a rustle of paper inside of his cloak.
He has the fucking note, that's right.
And he... No.
Is there more information on that paper?
Maybe.
Can I read it?
No.
But.
Can I read it? Please?
The head tilts a little bit. No.
Sleight of hand.
Tackling the ground, rip the cloak off, steal the paper.
Pretty much.
You're gonna try to like snap
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Give me a sleight of hand. Yay.
Yes.
Pretty sure he's a rogue.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, but I'm also
Tinkerer.
I have proficiency.
Yeah, okay.
12.
Well, I'm pretty sure an 18 beats that.
Dang it. I tried.
And that was just
That
on the die.
That was just a plus. I have a +6 to sleight of hand, okay?
Let's see here. What's his sleight of hand?
Oh god. What did he
Sleight of
just nick
hand.
off of you?
He's got a 6 as well.
We're even.
No, he has a 24. He was twice as good as you.
So as you like try to slip your hand into his cloak, you get a like you feel the cloak like move and slap you multiple times. And he nope.
What else
Why
does
are we
the
not
note
allowed to
say?
read that?
Lots.
Why won't you show it to us? We're part of the team.
Can show, no read.
We can't understand it.
I could-
Bet.
You said you could read it, Nicola?
wait. Shit. Hang on.
Did you take comprehend languages?
I could comprehend languages, but that's not.
That's not reading and writing.
That's listening.
Yep.
Yes.
Ah.
But if I cast it, could you read it out to me?
No.
So we didn't lose the same way.
Can you make a translation?
Why?
Because
It would
Maybe
really
can
help
have
us
the
out.
info?
yeah.
Not supposed to.
Who gave you that paper? I don't remember this.
Lord Bjark gave him the paper.
Did he say anything before he gave you that paper?
Not that I know of.
Nope.
Did he say anything about the paper? Is that what you're?
Wait, did he say anything? Yeah, did he say like, "Hey, here's some orders" or something like that?
He just handed it over to him.
So he puts us in charge of figuring it out, but he won't let us read the paper. This makes no sense.
Whistle is finicky.
No, comprehend language. You understand any written language you see. But you have to be touching the surface
Oh.
of the.
But you don't understand any. Okay,
You have to be touching the paper, though.
I didn't finish reading it.
But here's the kicker: the spell doesn't decode secret messages in a text or a glyph, such as an arcane sigil, that isn't part of a written language.
So I'm gonna guess this is like a thieves' camp type thing.
You don't know.
Oh,
You haven't seen it.
Right.
But keep that in mind.
Right. No, I knew that. So if it's in code, then I'm just gonna read gibberish anyway.
Exactly.
Whistle, do you know of any house here that has elf and gnome slaves that make magic items.
You hear the rustle of paper again, and then you hear more rustling of paper, and all of a sudden the cloak sort of like drops down, like it's hunched over even further, more like he's crouching at this point.
He's crouched reading.
And it almost, while you're watching it, it almost looks like somebody is turning on the inside of the cloak while the cloak is sitting still.
This is a fucking sentient cloak. It's a sentient bag of holding. It has to be.
And you keep hearing rustles and rustles, and all of a sudden it stands back up, and he, and he puts his hand out. Payment.
Thought we were working together, but okay. I will give him a silver.
Again, you put it in the cloak, and it like does this weird like twitch around the cloak,
small.
and then envelops into it, and he produces a small slip of paper in place of it.
Can you get rid of a silver, please?
Nah. Oops.
24 hours. I get this.
You have fun with that, buddy.
Thank you. And a piece of paper.
Yep.
What does it say? I swear to God, if it says nope. Nope!
It has a list of. It is a long list of families that have gnomes and families that have elves, but none of them are on.
None of them have crossovers.
Yep. And it is, when you start going through the list, it's there's names there that you have no idea who in the hell they are.
Is it names and lists of all types of slaves they have?
Yes.
Okay. Whistle, do any of these?
Are there any of the famous wizarding families on the list?
Yes.
Whistle, do any of these families work closely together?
That was my thinking.
Because the Tinkerer said that gnomes obviously helped with it. Damn. I don't know where to go from here.
He puts his hand back out again.
Low five. And I hand him back the paper.
It folds up, and you hear the rustling again, but this time the cloak doesn't do its weird little sit thing.
It's getting pocketed back.
And
It's a robe of endless pockets.
and then he puts his hand back out again.
Yes. I already paid you for the information.
I found more. More.
Alright, I'll hand this.
He produces this time it's not like a piece of paper.
It's a book.
Like you get a small book.
Fuck yeah.
And inside it is, when you start flipping through it, at first it makes no sense, and it takes you a little while to put two and two together. But it's tracking of cargo when it comes in and out of the city.
Does it also say who gets it and who takes it back?
It says where it gets dropped off.
Once I deduce that, I will immediately go searching through to try and find heavy steel and copper.
You wouldn't be able to figure that one out.
Never mind.
The Nikolai would definitely be able to figure it out. That's with a passive investigation.
Gotcha.
Oh, cool.
See, I wrote down numbers.
Yay.
My wonderful 11.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I'm above average, just not much above average.
Passive 16.
Yeah.
Mine's an 11.
Your investigation's a 15.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got perception investigation confused.
Yeah. But yeah, you can figure out that it's a cargo ledger.
Cool.
So
It
we
doesn't say what's in the cargo. It just says, 7 boxes brought in on so and so ship. 3 boxes brought in on.
was hoping it had like a manifest.
No. But it gives ships names. And I shouldn't say ships as much as like
Fairies almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes and that you can tell the difference because some of them is definitely like it's definitely not a name for a person, and then others it's a person's name.
Yeah.
So that's where you can tell the difference of the whether it's a big ship, like an actual ship.
There's Maiden's Kiss, and then there's Vanessa.
Yeah. Well, no. It'd be more like Maiden's Kiss, and then using the term Vanessa would be like Vanessa Shortwell.
Okay. Gotcha.
But it says what dock, like, and you can, if you're looking at it for like a day, you can actually see like Maiden's Kiss, dock here, 3 boxes, dock here, 4 boxes, dock here, pick up 3 boxes.
Okay. So... Does it say size of boxes at all?
Did you ask him that?
He's probably asking Nikolai.
C doesn't know what's in the book yet.
Oh.
I'm having to ask, but
No, did Nikolai, did you ask that?
Yeah.
I didn't
He,
really ask.
He thinks for a second, and you hear, birdies.
Birdie.
What did you ask, Nicola?
I asked if, where you got this information.
Oh.
Birdies.
Sure thing, fat bald guy from Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Who I can't remember his name now that I'm trying to remember it.
Ferris.
Thank you.
No, it is not Ferris.
Birdies!
Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch, that's why he knows bird calls. He can talk to birds.
Unless he's not referring to actual birds.
Birdies. Finch lands inside hood. 3 boxes. In this town, are there, like, different districts for trade?
Sort of.
That's what I was wondering.
Like, a blacksmith and, like, this area deals mainly with metal. This area deals with textiles.
There's a little bit of that.
Okay.
Some of it does cross over a little bit in certain areas, and then there's like the area you live in is it's an amalgamation of stuff because it's one of the newer areas.
We need to find a place that does enchanting as well. If this is in the city. If they're being made in the city, it would be a place that could feasibly do enchanting. Are there any free elves in the city?
Like Dobby.
Like, would I have ever heard of that?
There's some free gnomes.
Yeah. Well, the majority of the elven population was put into slavery.
Mhm.
From the other campaign, Fritz was a free elf doing her own shit.
Yeah.
If there aren't free elves in the city, and they're the ones doing magic, the Ebon Gauntlet would know.
Yeah. But would the Ebon Gauntlet even talk to us?
Wouldn't talk to me unless we pay them. Crooked cops and all. Whistle, do you know if there are any free elves in the city? Not trying to buy a free elf, but a elf that is not a slave living in the city.
Oh. Non-slave.
Yes. I felt the need to specify that.
I didn't understand. But there are 3.
3? Are any of them magic users?
Yes.
Where can we find them?
Do you think that's a place that we should look?
If those 3 happen to be slaves at one point.
These are the 3 free ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. They're free now, but were they free always?
True.
If they were slaves, they could be taking revenge.
Because based off what the Tinkerer said, elves do the enchanting. We might be able to get one of the elven magic users to tell us more.
You can try.
Are there any you would recommend talking to over the others?
For what?
Learning more about who enchanted these.
One magic.
Could you take us to that one, please?
Maybe.
I pull out a silver.
No.
Oh. I was like, oh, I don't have to pay this time. They might be here, they might not be.
Yes.
Could you take us to where they normally stay then?
Okay.
Thank you. Lead the way, good sir.
Or ma'am.
If you are, sir. Lead the way, good cloak.
Again, because he now has a bigger companion. He takes more like normal roads, and
Just
again,
wait until I learn reduce.
leads you into like the heart of the city.
Oh yeah.
And he gets to a door, and it is like for all there's no sign. It's just a door, and he stops and like motions to it.
Thank you very much.
Knock.
One of you two, do it.
I'll go knock.
I keep forgetting I also need to speak up.
You knock on the door, and there's no response.
They call out, hello, anybody home? No response.
We know what you are.
Can I peek through windows?
You can try.
I will attempt.
Give me a perception check.
When she does that, I'd like to put my ear up to the door.
That's 4.
The 4.
Mhm.
Don't see much.
Mhm.
Windows a little
Are the
clouded over.
windows higher? Like, is it just a single-story building, or is it
No, it's a
a
multi-story
townhouse
building.
type?
Is there any
Okay.
light coming from the inside?
Light. It's daytime, so
Oh.
hard to tell.
But putting my ear up to the door, can I hear any rustling behind it at all?
Give me a perception check.
Not very good. That's a 15.
Thank you.
Uh,
On the die.
so that'd be a 19.
Oh, thank you.
Because you can use your passive perception
Yeah.
as a 14, so it's a plus
Okay.
4.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that's right. I specifically didn't take perception.
So, so that's what total?
19.
19. With a 19, you do hear what sounds like a clock ticking.
How high up is the window on the next story up?
It's about 10 foot.
Hey, Steve, give him a lift.
I snap my finger and Pixel pops up on the windowsill.
Okay.
And I will, I guess, hold on to Sieg and go look through his eyes and try and look through and see if there's anything there.
Give me a perception check for Pixel. Pixel, you kitty.
Oh, son of a bitch, it's like Caleb. 7.
Well, all you needed was
Passive is 13.
all you needed was a 5 to make it through the window when you're looking through it to get past the grime and whatnot.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
You do notice that there's a bedroom.
And the charred remains of an
Don't see anybody moving.
Nope.
And is there, how many, is it just one window or?
Yeah, just one window on the top floor that you can see.
Okay.
This looks suspicious as fuck, by the way.
Yeah. Popping back down to me.
Nobody saw him.
There's a clock ticking.
Is the door locked?
I checked the door.
I checked.
Just saying.
It opens.
After you.
I go in.
I
first.
gesture at Nicola.
Oh, well, I was gonna go in first, so.
Okay.
You're
Me?
too precious.
Yeah, let's make the squishiest person go first.
Okay, send your cat.
So Charlie
Okay,
goes
yeah.
in. When you enter, when
Oh
you
wait, no,
first
she's blind.
walk into the door, it looks like a shop, but there's nothing there's counters that block you from getting to places, but there's nothing on the walls. There's nothing.
It's empty.
Yeah. All that is on one of the counters is a single bell.
I ring it.
So I'll step in. So we're less suspicious looking.
Dragging in Nicola. Oh wait, no, you said you popped the cat
I
out.
can see.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Whistle follows in shortly behind and shuts the door. And after a couple of minutes,
I'm looking for that clock.
there's nothing in the room. It is just the counters that keep you from going.
I just heard ticking.
Yeah.
I heard a disembodied ticking. It's a pipe bomb.
Mysterious ticking noise.
Are you
Thank
gonna
you.
look for the ticking?
I'm gonna listen and try and find a direction of it.
Give me another perception check.
That's a 20.
I want to make sure. So, 24.
No, don't see where it's coming from.
I just hear it.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It's definitely louder now that you're inside the room.
All right.
After you rung the bell, You don't hear anything for a minute, and then you hear a loud, and coming down the stairs, like you hear people, somebody coming down the stairs, coming.
It was an actual snap.
Yeah,
Okay.
What the heck?
and coming down the stairs is a slender, red-headed elf, and she, oh, new people. Oh, oh, it's you, Whistle. What do you want?
Is she talking to Whistle or directly?
I'm not the one that rang the bell.
I know. Oh. Well.
You get the pain.
I mean, I'm looking at her. I'm like, "Hi. We're looking for some information on magical beetles that explode, and we were wondering if you knew anything about
Magical
You have
beetles
become so sheepish in a day.
that explode.
Clockwork beetle.
Yeah, clockwork
That were-
beetles that gnomes have worked on, and
You may have had transmutation
yeah,
spell cast on it.
May have had transmutation spell cast on it.
we're not real sure because nobody gave us a
Well,
real
when I
answer.
tried to see what kind of magic it was, it attacked us and then blew up after.
It changed form and then attacked us.
Right. You don't have to have it, do you?
Sure, what pieces you got?
Pieces. This is what we have, unfortunately. And I'm not just gonna drop it on the counter. That's just rude.
She
It's just
like as your hands come out, she then looks at you again and she's, oh, you're an odd one.
yes. I'm sorry.
You and him, you work together. That fits.
What?
And when she says that, she's pointing to Whistle.
Oh, okay. I thought when you did that, I'm like pointing at Charles, like, well, we do technically work together. It's working out so far.
Tinkerer said there were some runes, but we couldn't make them out.
Yeah.
Ooh, the runes.
Yes. And I hold up the cog that he was pointing at first. I heard that he said there were runes. That's all I know.
I point
Yeah.
at the cogs.
She just put it there.
I kept them all out in a row, trying neatly and organized.
She and she starts casting spells, and you see all of the cogs start to get a nice clean sheen and glimmer to them.
There is one cog that's put back together at least.
And she's, oh, that's better. Those were dirty.
They're not actually dirty though.
No, but they.
Oh yeah. What information the Tinkerer did give us, he said that other clockwork beetles like this would have been made in ditch.
Not necessarily. Clockwork beetles can be made in any city.
The ones that did what we explained, as he told us, would have been made by gnomes and enchanted by elves.
Oh, he's talking about those. Yeah, that was like 200 years ago.
But he also did say that this was not only gnomes making them.
No, because, and she picks up one of the cogs.
Mhm.
The runes on this one, this is definitely not what a gnome would do. This might be a dwarf. Which that's sort of weird, the fact that dwarves are still doing stuff around here.
So
And she, like,
First
why
off,
would,
good guess.
why would the gnomes and the dwarves and the elves be working together?
Who says they work together?
Well, he referred to them that said usually gnomes build and then elves.
Yeah, when you're slaves, you're told to do whatever.
Oh, I didn't know if they would work together. Or
I
not.
love how blunt she is.
Yeah.
I love her already.
Well, I wouldn't know how slaves are treated.
Really.
That was, yeah. I wouldn't know much about slaves because.
Anyways, So,
I guess I would. I don't know,
You might know a little bit.
but not a lot.
You're 12 and we're an urchin,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, so
Mm-hmm.
you might know a little bit.
she picks around on the cogs a little bit more, and so runes wise, yeah, transmutation quite possible. It's hard to say. Some of them are missing, and like you got half rune here, half rune there. It's when they all line up in a certain manner that causes whatever happened. But yeah, that would be in line with I'm guessing that you were talking with Ashrith. Um, he's pretty knowledgeable about his stuff.
The Tinker.
Yep, that's
He
what I was checking.
he definitely told you the right thing about the fact that like originally it was done by gnomes and elves, but since the 200 years has passed, it is definitely something that anybody who's willing to take the time to learn to do it can do.
Is there anybody around here who's been doing that?
What city are we in?
We're in Cress.
Cress.
I wouldn't know. I haven't been here in a while.
Mm.
You're the first to ring my bell.
I fucking love her.
You're the first to ring my bell in a couple of months.
Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head.
All right. So, do you know where this might have originated then?
I mean, they can't go too far. Take that back. They can't go pretty far. I mean, if you make one, like, say, and, like, she reaches over and, like, touches a wall and then pulls a clockwork creature from the wall and sets it down, and it looks like it came from nothing. And she sets it down on the counter, and she's like, take this one, for example. If I set it up that it's yours, like, it'll follow you wherever you go.
So is it like a familiar thing?
Sort of.
That's what he was telling us earlier.
The noisemaker.
Yeah.
No, that was in the book.
Yeah. Would the familiars really? Would they be making familiars that like explode when somebody tries to cast a spell to see what?
Well, you could do it as a safety measure so that information isn't obtained. You could do it as a way of triggering it. It might not be a familiar then at that point. If you want it to explode, you might make it as like a bomb to just cause havoc. Then you get into the fact that it might not have been could have just been timing, because you could set them up to be timed. If you're going to do it that way, because you could set up magic to where it takes time. Then you could also set it up, especially with how these runes, they're not all together. Like, you got some of the runes, like I said, this is half of a rune, and I don't see the other half here, so, it might be on another cog that you didn't pick up or something, and, it just lined up at the right time, and
Oh. Wow. She's got a lot of information.
Fantastic. So we have an even more dangerous situation with 3 more of them loose in the city.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
That we know.
Not my deal.
Oh no, not your deal at all.
We're just trying to find a source
Yeah.
for them.
By the way, I'm very sorry I didn't introduce earlier. I am Sigrund, and this is Charlie. You know Whistle already.
Whistle makes bird noises, and yes.
How can everybody understand him except us? And this is, and I gesture to Nicola.
Nicola.
Oh. So you're just here for information, correct?
I don't exactly know what you do.
Yeah, what is your...
I saw you pull something out of a wall, and I'm extremely intrigued.
She takes the clockwork insect and puts it back through the wall. And it looks like
It's just one of those
Yeah. Is she let's leave it at I'm a collector of eccentricities, things that some claim could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Some might be just
Didn't catch
protective.
your name.
I didn't give it.
That's what I was hoping to get with. We are blah 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 blah, and you are. And ugly, dangerous things and things that can be protective are usually very pricey.
Exactly.
I won't be able then.
And let's just make it to where, and she thinks for a second, you didn't come here.
Okay.
No, I did not.
I'm not here.
That works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. I won't charge you for the information.
When she's gesturing with her hands, can I see if she's marked?
What do you mean?
Like when we had to do the testing in Farron in the Welcome to Tyria,
Okay.
can I tell if she's if
Registered.
she's registered? Thank you. If she's registered or if she has any way of being able to tell if she is trained in magic, like at the assembly or not assembly at the college or anything like that.
Give me a perception check because it's
Yeah,
16.
20 total.
doesn't look like she's marked.
Alright.
In any shape, form, or fashion.
Well, thank you.
Right.
And then
So, if you found anything of interest that you want to possibly get rid of, you know where to find me now.
yeah.
Preferably come alone. And she like looks over at Whistle, and he does another bird call, and she's, I know. You keep causing problems.
So- I wave and I start heading out the door.
As you're starting to leave, you hear her whistle, and he like bird calls back, and she like fine, and you hear like money, and like he collects it off of the counter and walks off.
I would like to wait for everybody else to leave. And then close the door and turn back. How do you not get in trouble?
What do you mean?
I see it looks like magic going on. I haven't had mine in a while. For a while. I don't want the gauntlet coming after me, but I would like to learn more.
For someone like you, it'll be a lot harder.
I understand that, but I know I won't be accepted at the college.
It's going to be very hard.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I can't help.
I understand that.
For those that I could help, they need to have things like this. And she starts like, all of a sudden books are coming up, and she's like putting them up on the counter. And she's... and she's, I can teach tons of people with these. You, on the other hand, I can already tell whatever god decides to play with you, that's your fault.
Got you.
She's like, in other words, you're screwed.
Pretty much.
So, but not getting caught. Don't use it around people normally. That's a good way of doing it. And then you're supposed to like, it's one of those. Normally, I don't go walking around where everybody can tell that I'm an elf.
Mm.
Typically, and she like waves her hands, and her ears instantly like dissipate into normal, and she looks like a normal. looks the same, but she looks human.
But she looks human. Unfortunately, I can't do that.
You could. The gods might smile on you in that way. I do know some of them that can.
Interesting.
But I knew that Whistle was here, and, well, sort of. I knew that someone that knew me was here, and thus I came unprepared for visitors.
Sorry.
Is there a... If we need to talk to you again, is there a better way of contacting besides just coming alone?
Come and ring the bell. I might be here. Might not. Don't know.
If we have visitors, would you like us to...
Leave them away.
Very well. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, yes. As I said, no charge this time.
This time. Thank you very much. And then I leave.
As soon as you hear the door shuts, you hear it lock.
Yep.
And then you hear another audible.
Nice. Okie dokie. I get everything I needed out of that.
And out of character, she's just like, that was a free trial.
I love her already.
She talked really fast, so I can only get so much out.
And that's why in 2 days, you have all the time in the world to keep writing. What do you think I was doing? All right.
So we could hit a library,
Yeah, I like
or
the
we
library.
can report in.
I mean,
When you say that, whistles again.
why do you always whistle?
Common.
Why can't you use words like all the time? How do people understand you?
You do, like, you didn't hear. Whistle was struggling to do the full sentence before.
Well, I was just
It
curious
might be
why.
very difficult for Whistle.
I was just wondering why.
Words not all together.
Gotcha.
So, we're heading to the library then?
I like the idea of the library.
I don't know. Whistled, and I was waiting to see what.
Oh, yeah. What did you whistle before?
The port?
The port.
Okay. Report.
Oh, I thought he said the port.
No, report.
My bad. All right.
And if it's like you hear some rustling and a piece of paper and a quill appears in the cloak's like hand things.
That was just me not being able to hear it.
Yeah.
My bad.
And it
Oh, he's waiting for us to tell the report. Well, I will.
Before
Relay.
that, Whistle, do you know of any, and I'm trying to stay quiet now, do you know of any dwarves in the city? From what I knew, they stay to themselves. They don't come out ever since the war.
what dwarf?
He doesn't know what a dwarf is.
That actually helps a lot then, because it would be marked if there were dwarf slaves. Alright, what do you guys want to report?
Oh, I'm just gonna relay back what we found out about the beetles. That they were made by gnomes and elves, apparently 100 years ago, and that dwarves helped because of the runes on it.
The
Maybe.
gnomes and dwarves, or the gnomes and elves ones, were 200 years ago.
I thought it was 100 years ago.
Two.
Oh,
And this one had dwarven work on it.
yeah, which is what I was referring to as the runes.
She said maybe dwarven.
Yeah.
We know the common history, right?
What do you mean?
Was it the dwarves that sold the elves into slavery?
Yes.
Thank you. So it'd be completely feasible for any dwarven stronghold or something around here to have elven slaves. Huh.
Either way, I was just gonna say, the spells could either be a transmutation, like a timer or a familiar, or a protection spell. If you mess with it, and
So like, Whistle like scribbles a little bit, and he then like looks to each of you, and you again, you can't see the face of it, but you can see the cloak.
hood.
Yeah, the cloak, like the hood of it like rotates to each of you.
This is a sentient cloak with 1,000 pockets on the inside that are all bag of holdings. It has to be.
And basically, he waits for anybody to give him any more information to write.
Nicola?
Just ask for if there's any other information that we could have that we weren't given.
When you say that, he such as
What's on your paper?
lots.
you could say, about families who work together closely, and yeah, that's as far as I can think. Also, I guess you could mention something about Titch too.
There's a possibility that it comes from Titch.
Mm-hmm.
With no more information coming, he like turns the paper over,
Mm-hmm.
and he holds out the quill.
Does he want us to sign it?
Yep. When you start to look at it, though, you can't understand a single thing that's been wrote down.
What's it look like?
Birdseed here, worm here.
It occasionally there are words,
Mm-hmm.
but like for the most part, it just looks like weird lines. And when I say weird lines, I'm talking like there's a slash, and then there's a
Does it
slash
look
with
like
a dot.
Morse code?
It's not even. When I say a slash, I'm talking like
Oh, like slants and
yeah.
stuff
There's slants, there's lines, dots,
and shapes.
and then there's random like ends, or what looks like an A, but it's not exactly an A. And it's when you look at it, you're just like lost. But the only thing that like really stands out is when there is the word Asherith, and that's in common.
Okay.
And when you report back, could you also mention that we would need to know if there's any families that have dwarven slaves in the city?
What dwarf?
You don't know what dwarf is.
However you're writing, and I'll write it out on the ground in the dirt. Put that in. I'm hoping he's scribbling.
No.
Fuck.
He's just looking at it and like looking at you.
So take Nicola, but put him, and I put him like the height at nipple of Nicola, at a beard, big beard.
And stout.
I give him stereotypical dwarf. Like, however you can, like, I will describe Gimli from Lord of the Rings. Think like that.
Do we actually know what they look like?
Shit, that actually is a good question.
Is it like the
I mean, I figured you would because you work with dwarven stuff.
I don't work with dwarven and stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
Nobody's seen a dwarf in years.
Oh, never mind. Then I wouldn't even know. I just know
What
stories
I
of them.
have in my studies.
I would know something about dwarves because I'm smart.
Because of your studies,
Yes.
give me a what would that be? Give me an intelligence check.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So I just have my intelligence modifier.
Make it a history check.
I might know
Cool.
a little bit about them,
Son of a
considering I
bitch.
do deal with blacksmithing.
Could I have helped him?
8.
8.
Yeah.
Guess not.
The little bit that you know about the dwarves, it's the same old of history. The fact that they helped the Dark King take over the world, enslave the elves. They've enslaved humans. They're not well liked if they're seen, and you know the stereotypical, like, what they supposedly look like, which is what Sigurd was starting with the description, but it's outside of that. You've never seen one, never seen a picture of one, never seen a drawing of one. They're just short bearded fellows that are stout and stocky.
Because I wouldn't have known that. I might know of their smithing, or at least a little bit from reading at the temple. But I would know the common history, and I would explain that race to the best that I could. So maybe Whistle would know what I'm talking about.
When you do all of that, Whistle, what's dwarf?
Fuck.
Guess he doesn't understand.
Damn.
Oh
would-
well.
Whistle having all the information about the slaves and the families that are owning them, he would more than likely know.
If there was of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he doesn't, so.
Which may be what he's referring to as what dwarf. There is no dwarf here.
Yeah.
Either way, still mention the dwarven maybe dwarven runes into it. I guess we'll just sign our names.
Okay. The paper and quill disappears into the thing, and after a second, you see the paper, like you see another piece of paper appear, but this time it's folded up into what looks like a little bird, and he like tosses it in the air, and it starts to fly away.
That's what he talks about when he means birdies.
Ghosts can't see.
I'm adopting Whistle instead of Charlie. You have parents, fuck off. That's fine.
They could be dead for all I know.
I'll sell you to a husband for like 3 cattle, and they can have 2.
Better be cute.
Ma'am, we're in a time period where marriages aren't based on love, they're based on political gain.
But we don't have any political gain from me being married
But
because
I
I'm
could-
nothing.
But I could get political gain out of you.
Yeah, that is if the family accepts me.
I might not be hated as much.
They probably wouldn't accept me though because
I could become a duke.
they couldn't.
No. Well, there's no way I could be a lord. All right. So, where do we go from here, guys? Any takers?
Library! And I
Yes,
don't say it
library.
like that, but...
Library! That's exactly how she says it. Good, because I was actually thinking the same thing.
So you're gonna go to the library?
Yep.
Yeah, whichever one's closest to our area, I guess.
When you say
Well, we were in the center of town, so
Yeah.
uh
How many are there in the center of town?
you're asking that?
Yeah.
At this Whistle. What?
Oh.
Only one.
Only one library in the entire city, or one in the middle of town?
Only one.
Could you lead us to it, please?
Yes.
Sure.
I know I'm as uncomfortable here as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, Whistle leads you down the road, and he takes you to a point that you're leaving the center of town, and you're starting to head back towards the rich area that Lord Bjark lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden there's a wall, and it's not the city wall, because the city walls stand about 15 to 20 feet tall. This is about it's more like a 4.5 foot fence, but it's made of stone. And there are no houses that are directly next to it. It's all streets that go around it. And you can sort of see over the fence that there's a large, what looks like a cathedral in the center of it. And as you get to the gate, there is a hanging from a fence post next to the gate is a cage with what looks like a black bird in it. And the bird is holding a scroll in its right hand, in its right foot.
I guess I'll try and take the scroll.
And when you start to reach for it, like Whistle slaps your hand, and like you can tell that he's thinking for a second, and he and points to the bird and rook cage.
Did you say rook?
Rook.
Oh, thank you.
Rook cage? What the heck?
And like he points to and the gates are open.
Oh. I guess I'll go in then. I don't quite know what he means when he says rook cage, so.
Now, was it a sign, or was this actually like a cage with a rook?
No, it's definitely like a sign, but it's a 3D sign.
Oh.
Okay.
Like the bird is made of wood.
Okay.
Oh, I would have.
That's the reason he slapped your hand away. Was it's the whole like no.
Honestly, when you started giving the description, I'm like, oh, so they have a kenku trapped in a cage recording shit.
And as you get to the doors, and it's these giant double wooden doors, and one of them is open currently, and it's up a couple of stairs to get to it, and there's not a lot of traffic here. But as you enter the doors, you can see that what looked like a single-story building from the outside, on the inside, it is not.
Magic.
You have 4 to 5 floors that you can see of books and shelves.
Oh, Lord.
So many books, so many shelves.
You're in heaven.
And it is one of those that it's got a the only part that does look like a single story is right as you enter. It's got the what is a cathedral ceiling that goes all the way to the top. And at the very end of where the cathedral ceiling ends, on the floor that you are on, there is a small desk with a gentleman sitting at it. And that's where we're going to take our break and pick up there in a couple minutes.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger. So we'll be right back in a couple of minutes, guys. I'm gonna go get a drink and stretch my legs and get some more water. So stick around, and we'll be right back. welcome back, everyone. I'm Shinigami Tabris, and we're just gonna hop back into this. You guys were going to the library.
Yeah.
We just saw the front desk.
I tried to touch a 3D bird for some stupid reason because apparently I'm being dumb today.
So as you enter, the guy at the front desk looks up and he can I help you?
Should we be looking for something that involves
Yes, we are needing to do some research.
Well, I mean, that is what we're known for.
Stating the obvious.
Everyone in Cress is a smartass.
Yes.
Even the players.
Well, yeah.
Should it be about work?
We're looking more specifically for clockwork and magic cast on clockwork.
Right.
Clockwork
Clockwork
creatures, to be exact.
Clockwork Creations would be on the 3rd floor. Magic would be in the 1st basement.
I am looking for cartography.
Cartography.
Yes.
What exactly with cartography are you looking for?
Old cities, lost cities, strongholds, stuff like that.
More history than cartography.
Yes, thank you.
History would be the 2nd floor currently.
All right. So we have 3 floors and 3 people. Good. If I'm not kicked out.
Will you need assistance, or will you be able to find your way on your own?
Are you
Should be
gonna
able
need
to find
assistance?
our way.
No.
I may need assistance.
What'd you say, Nikolai?
I was just saying, should be able to, but if he needs assistance, then I guess so.
You guys should be fine. I'm gonna need
Yeah.
help.
So, splitsies?
Yeah,
Who's
I
going
guess-
to what floor?
I guess I'll go to clockwork.
Okay.
I'll head to the magic.
4th floor, basement 1, and 3rd floor. Who wants to go first?
Whistle, could you please keep an eye on Charlie?
Gets a whistle back.
Thank you very much.
I'll go first.
So you and Whistle make it to the 4th floor. As soon as you get to the 4th floor, and it is the same with most of the floors as you go up the stairs. As soon as you get to the top of the staircase and like branch off, because it is a solid single staircase that goes up. When you branch off to the left and right, there are little cubbies for reading, and next to like the first cubby is actually filled with what looks like a small filing cabinets. What, for anybody who's been to a library,
It's index.
is your index.
I will start going through the index and looking for clockwork creatures.
Okay. So give me a investigation check.
Come on, guys, don't fail me now. 9, 10, 11, 12.
So as you're going through all of the index and looking at the titles of all of the books, there are tons of them that say clockwork, and then there's like the you're reading some of the titles and they make no sense why they're in clockwork or why they would be in this section with the clockwork stuff. And it's titles of like beast and other creatures throughout the ages, or another wonderful example would be the human anatomy and how to make it work.
I take those. I'm like, these are not in the right place. And
These aren't in the right place. Wait, this is all zoology and human biology. Wait, I'm in the wrong place.
But there are books that are like Tinker's Start to Clockwork, uh, the Clockwork creations of, and it's a city that like you don't know what it is, but it's a city. Like it's got a name, and but it's definitely a city name because like it's one of those awkward. It's not a person's name, and unless they've got a name like Selfowin.
I'll probably take that one because I'm looking for.
The title of this book is Random Mechanical Noises, Insert Construction Noises Here.
Yeah. The books and beeps of yeah.
I'll probably take that one out because I'm looking for like areas that they've built, I guess.
Okay. So you're gonna go look for that book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It takes you a few minutes to go find the book, and the whole time Whistle is sort of like trudging behind you. And when you pull the book down, like you can see the cloak like lean over and look at it, and he sort of like leans over your shoulder and is looking at what you're looking at.
I'm like, I look at him. I'm like, look in the index and find some more books that have specific city names with clockwork in them, please.
Puts his hand out.
He wants me to pay him for it.
You also missed your chance to look in the hood.
I know, but
You had one shot, and it is gone.
You gonna pay him?
yeah, I give him a silver because I have silver.
When you give him the silver, he again it disappears into the cloak, and he where meat.
Here, and I pointed a cubby the hole where I'm where I plan to sit.
Okay. So you start flipping through the book, and it is like as you're going through the book, it's wrote in common, but it's also wrote in like old common. So there's one of those awkward things of like there's a couple of words that you're definitely not sure what they mean. And then there's definitely spellings that are incorrect.
COLOUR?
What?
And it is like as you're going through the book, you can also tell that it is an older book. So like the handwriting is not
Legible, really?
yeah, some of it's has smudged at points or it's faded. But it goes through the different things of clockwork and how some of the inventions were created and some of the inventors that created them from the city. But it doesn't really. None of it pertains to anything of what you're looking for.
Okay, then I'm just gonna toss that book aside and go to the next one, whatever he brings back.
When he comes back, because I'm not even gonna. I know what his passive investigation is like.
Pretty bad.
No.
Oh.
Whistle smart as fuck, yo.
He comes back with it takes him a little bit, and when he shows up, he's got 10 books.
Cool, I get 10 books that I can go through.
And he sets them all down, and he lie.
I'm trying to find what's the word I'm looking for here?
I have no idea. It's your head.
I know. Location. Possible locations where this clockwork stuff has been commonly found, and so we can figure something out.
Everywhere.
There's clockwork all over the world.
More specifically, this kind of. I don't know.
Cress, Titch, Farron, Ultrawind. Just name a few.
I'm just like, I'm not even gonna respond. I'm just
That's-
gonna.
Like when he says everywhere, he also like sort of like hints to the fact he gave you 12 books.
I'm like, thank you. But
Or you might look for the specific book that Tinker was talking about.
I'll do that next. I'm just looking for location first because I'm
Okay.
curious.
So we're gonna skip to Sigurd.
Once I get assistance, I would like help finding a map with any and all dwarven cities, strongholds, stuff like that,
When you ask for that,
for either excavation purposes, for just research on what they did there, crap like that.
the person takes you into a back room, and like it's under actually is under a lock.
Oh, it's the restricted section.
And they undo the lock, and they take you in, and they pull off a couple of scrolls off of the wall, and the table in here is fairly large, and they set it on
It's about to be a map
and
table.
scrolls, yeah,
Yep.
and it
This is why I was asking about cartography, was maps.
yeah, and the map that gets rolled out it's fairly old.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell just from the way the paper looks, and there's tears and so forth. But then there's also the fact that there's definitely a way that the map was created, like the ink and so forth, is different. And you can tell just by looking at it that the ink looks different from what is considered modern time.
Okay.
Um,
Does it look like a preservative ink, or is just everything on it illegible now?
some of it's illegible, some of it's legible,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely not your traditional like
Mhm.
regular ink. And then when you're also looking at it, the continent does not look right.
Oh. No, when you say the continent doesn't look right, it's I'm not looking for closed off like country sections, but the entire shape of the land is different.
Yes.
This is old.
And after they finished rolling, they've only pulled 2 down,
Mm-hmm.
and he points to these are the known ones of the time frame. This is let me pull up. I gotta pull up a timeline.
I'm more interested in the last 200 to 400 years. Because these types of beetles, we were told, were made around 200 years ago in Titch. So that knowledge would be transparent with the dwarves as well.
Well, this specific map comes from the time frame prior of the Cyrus time frame, not the unification time frame.
Okay.
We don't have any maps of the dwarven stuff from the unification, except around 200 unification, and that's the second one that he pulls unravels, and he goes, these are the ones that we know are still, and like when he puts it, he tries to like mimic it
Mm-hmm.
on top of each other, and you can see where there are definitely strongholds that are still marked.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that are marked, there's one in Barris, or not Barris. Yeah, Barris. And then there's one up in Taberald.
I remember the one about Taberald.
And there's one in, is it
Please say Mercius.
no.
Damn.
There's not one in Mercius currently that they know of.
Damn.
So if there is one, they don't know about it. Or it's not marked. Taverald, Barris, and what's the one next to Lumbridge? Duendal?
Doing
Vastiel.
Vastiel?
Yes.
Yeah, Vastiel.
Duin is the city in Vastiel.
Okay. Oh, there's one in Vastiel.
Okay. Alright, taking the two maps, it's roughly centered around where everything should be.
Yeah.
If I roll the top map over, is there any that are somewhat close to where Cress would be? And it doesn't have to be super, super close. It can be like 200-300 miles away.
There is one that's close to Cress.
Okay.
But it's not on the...
It's not on the second map.
Yeah, it's not on the more recent map.
It could either be completely caved in or just lost. I'd like to make a note of that in my own notes. And then mark out where the other three are known. Specifically the Taberald one. Right? Yes.
Taverald is to the north.
Taberald is very north,
Yeah.
but it's the closest one to Titch.
Let's get map cam up and...
Taberald's Taberald's dwarven stronghold that's known is the closest one to Titch.
Yeah. So... Why did that not change for... What's going on with my screen? Oh,
There we go.
So, for those that are looking... We're going to zoom in a little bit. So, the ones that are marked, there's one here,
Mm-hmm.
here, and then up here. And the one that you're looking at is somewhere off in this area.
Oh. Oh. That's not too relatively far from where Sieg is from.
That is very correct.
I will definitely make note of that. And for the most part, that's what I'm going to be spending my time doing, is translocating onto map and then making notes.
Okay.
And then making rough estimates of how far and the direction from East Hollow.
Okay. Nicola,
Yes.
you go down the stairs into the first basement.
We have successfully split the party. Who do you kill first?
Yeah, exactly. As you get down to the first basement, it's one of those, as soon as you like try to leave the staircase, there's doors.
I will try to open it.
As soon as you open the door, one of the people that's sitting there looks up at you and, can we help you?
Yes, I'm needing to do some research on magical effects. Specifically, transmutation, possibly with clockwork.
Oh, right arm here, and he points to a spot on the desk.
Oh, okay.
And when you put your arm there, he produces a small, what looks like a wooden device, and he like runs it up and down your arm, and it makes a beep afterwards, and you are registered, so are you part of the college, or are you here on your own personal use?
Personal use.
Are you attending the college currently?
I'm on a leave of absence for a year, but yes, I'm a student at the
And he's making notes in a book, and he
college.
name here.
Simony?
If you need any help, just ask. And he puts the book off to the side, and he picks back up the book he was reading.
Just so you know, we're in the
And that's the end of your interaction with him.
I am so glad I didn't think better of. When I'm done, I'd like to go join Nicola. So glad I thought better of that.
Mixed
So what are you doing?
Gonna research for books on transmutation, looking for basically the effect that I saw.
Okay. Give me an investigation check first.
Come on, dice. You can do this. Apparently, the dice gods are just not with me today.
Oh, the
That's
Lord of Chaos
7.
frowns upon you.
That's a 7.
Yeah.
There are in this section of the library is actually very rigid, and it's like there's not a, unlike other sections where like you can have books of similar subject but not talk about the same not talk about the same thing at all next to each other.
Yeah.
This is very much like there is a transmutation section.
Right.
And every book that's in it talks about transmutation and so forth. There are some books that there are some books that aren't part of that section that are listed in the like index. And those books that are not in the transmutation section, it's where transmutation stuff is talked about, but it's geared more towards a different type of magical school, or it's an all-around book which has its own section which basically has where it talks about all the different types of schools.
General studies of them.
Yeah. But going through the transmutation section is so huge, you're a little overwhelmed and don't know where to start.
Awesome.
This also, as you're starting to go through the section and looking, give me a Arcana check.
Oh my god. 9.
Damn, bro.
Okay, all of my dice are rolling 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. I keep changing the dice up.
It's hard to tell, but at one point you swear that you haven't moved through the row for quite a while. As you're walking down it.
Mhm.
And you don't know why.
Magical alley.
Nah, man, all these books are on a conveyor belt.
There you go.
It's walking. It's like the airport conveyor belt, you're standing on that walking, but it's just slowly pulling you back while everything else is moving.
Yeah.
But
Sushi carts.
you're able to find a couple of books that might have information on them, on what you're looking for. And you go off to a little cubby to start going through them. Back to Charlie. You've spent a couple of hours going through books,
Nothing.
and they all seem to be very similar, like the first one, where it talks about like the inventors that were in the areas, the things that they created that were of higher interest, like never been seen before until this inventor. But then like there's some of them, it's like you're starting to realize that some of them are saying the same thing about the same, like it's obvious that the item in question that's being built, it's either somebody in that area didn't know it existed somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
or what. So it's a bit awkward of like who's actually telling the truth, like who invented it first.
Yeah.
I developed a candle that tells you the exact time as it melts. I developed an oil lamp that tells you the exact time by puffing out different number of sparks at the same time.
No, it's more along the lines of a good example is there's 5 people that created a clock that keeps perfect time.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So, realizing this, I'm just like, well, this is useless. I go back to the indexes.
Okay.
And is there any... Well, how am I going to ask this properly? Not location. Is there any books that were similar to the book the gnome was describing? That he had read?
Without knowing the name of it, and like if you've gone through a index at a library beforehand, you get like
You get author
keyword
names and keywords.
Yeah, keywords and author names. So what keywords are you aiming for?
I'm not helping you anymore.
What was the specific words he said?
You've said it a couple times tonight. We said them a couple times tonight. Specifically, we said what that book actually entailed.
Arg. I didn't write that down, so. Never mind. I didn't write it down, so I can't remember. And I don't remember, so. I'm just gonna. I give up!
Very 12-year-old.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Like, I could tell her, but that's just, where's the fun in that?
I just like, okay.
But I do know the book that she would love to read right here.
But that I'm just gonna give up looking.
Okay. Whistles at you, and what?
I can't find what I'm looking for, so never mind. Do you remember what the tinker was saying about that specific book that he was trying to read but he can't find?
Maybe.
What is it gonna cost me?
The cloak shifts for a second, and he holds his hand out.
Friend.
I give him a silver.
The silver disappears, and after a couple of seconds, a book appears.
Of course.
Is that the book?
Oh my god! If this is the book, I swear.
No wonder the guy couldn't find it.
And it is, the title of it is one of those awkward, like, you would have never thought that this was about clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the creations and deductions used against and for slaves.
Mm.
Used against and for.
And the author is no longer like legible,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a leather-bound book.
Take the book and I start reading it. Thank you.
210. 210.
The page? I turned to the page 210.
There is a design of a clockwork beetle.
So that's what he was doing under the cloak, rustling around. I'll make him think that I'm looking for shit, but I'm just reading. Fuck you guys, mysteriousness.
And what it talks about is the fact that they got gnome slaves, and it talks about how they coerced the gnome slaves into creating these clockwork creations, and then being able to make two different clockwork creations, and then using enchantments from elves to turn them into one creation.
So it's two different creations that got magically transformed into.
Yes.
They get melded. Okay.
And in it, it talks about being able to set off the transmutation portion of it,
Mm-hmm.
either via timer, where it is you just set it for like 20 minutes, and it talks about even setting them up for years. You could set them where they don't change for hundreds of years. To setting them to where when they recognize the spell recognizes another spell being used against it, that it can protect itself.
So it's a protection spell created for defense.
To an extent.
Welcome to protection.
Yeah.
It's defensive.
Yeah. So, like...
It didn't want to be known, so it self-destructed. That was its protection.
No.
Well,
Oh,
it
my
attacked
bad.
and then tried to flee.
It's freaking blender mouth.
Sets timer.
So it's timer or trigger.
Yeah. Either or.
Okay.
Could be both.
Could be both.
Does it say, is it like, is
It was
by
way
reading
too
it,
near.
it's transmutation, right?
There's multiple ways that it can be done, but transmutation is one of them.
Okay.
One of them is a polymorph, which is a transmutation thing.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is when it. One way of doing it is when it takes damage, it reverts back to its original thing, so it's already polymorphed into itself, and it changes back.
Mm-hmm.
Or when the timer ends, it dispels the magic that's already on it. So dispelling magic is not transmutation at that point. But there's transmutation is very much a common thread on how the multiples creatures are there.
Okay.
In the same book, it does talk about using the clockwork not just for transforming itself, but also ways to use it as bombs, to have the creature go to a place and destruct itself and cause damage.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, they could put spells in it that would like set off fireballs or so forth. And they also talk about using them to crawl into people and
Ooh, and burrowing.
yep.
Horrifying.
Chest
So, like,
bursters!
nanobots, basically, from that point, like, burrowing into things. And...
Well, nanobot is a very tiny, like, a nanobot is not visible to the eye normally.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
microscopic.
yeah, so this is more along the lines of using it on purpose to, like, burrow through the skin as a torture device.
Oh, okay.
Chest burster or like a rat.
As torture.
It was...
Cool.
And it describes in full detail of, like, them using them on slaves to see how they, like, reacted and so forth.
Ooh.
So, like, you get the...
So there's used as
Sorry, I was
used
reading
on
as well.
slaves for testing.
And this
The
was
little
in
red-
the what in controlling of slaves?
Creation and deductions used against and for slaves.
Gotcha.
The whole book, like, if you start flipping away from that section, there are sections on, like, in the book, it talks about how to get slaves to work properly for you. Ways to, like, torture them properly to where they don't lose their value.
Sock full of nickels. Doesn't leave a bruise.
Oranges.
It's bar soap as well.
With keep in mind nickels don't exist in this time frame, and using copper to beat somebody with.
Oh, you put it in essentially a sackcloth and just whack, whack, whack.
That's why you
We
just
have
did it.
silver pieces.
That's a lot of money to waste
Oh
on
yeah,
a
that's
slave.
true. Fuck it, rocks.
But it talks about, like, the book is very dark, and, like, most of its topic is not something that deals anything with clockwork. There's only a very small section of it.
So I'm gonna take the creation that we dealt with as a torture device, and I'm gonna tell that they used on slaves, and I'm gonna go find one of them too and talk to them about it.
I will have to wait on this, but would Sieg know roughly when steel was introduced to the world, or when it started becoming used more? The heavy steel that was described.
Probably not,
Okay.
because that's such an old, at this time frame, that's such an old concept.
I wasn't sure if we had like just entered steel age like 100 years ago, or
No, like, you guys
if we've
have,
been in steel age for 5, 6, 7, 800 years.
yeah, you've been in it for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, Copper Age is something super old.
Yeah.
So that's
Why I didn't ask about copper.
Yeah, but, like, the Steel Age is still one of those for this time frame. It's and for this world, the Steel Age has been around for a while.
Okay. Because that could have determined how old is this thing.
Yeah. So Whistle, what?
I'm like, did you read this? Do you know why I'm interested in it?
I've been reading.
So
You reading.
Well, I was like, well, I found something about what I was looking for, so that's a start.
You asked for a book on cities and clockwork. I got you clockwork and cities.
I know. I was trying to find areas too. Like general areas where they could be most common, but that didn't work. So my brain was it's really hard to talk about because I feel like an idiot.
Like, and he's not too much, like, taller than you, and he pats you on the head, and okay.
He must be protected at all costs.
Like, let's go find the
Yeah,
yellow.
I do the one protecting the nice we talk about.
He As you're starting to leave, are you taking the book with you, or are you leaving it there?
I'm gonna take it with us.
No,
You want the book back?
no,
Just leave the book here?
yes.
Okay. I'll leave the book.
He knew that you would end up looking for that, so
Oh.
he grabbed it and then made you pay for it.
It's okay.
The most adorable scam artist.
Best kind.
Back to Nicola. You go through, and there are tons of things on transmutation that, unfortunately, to you as a novice wizard, you don't understand half of what it's talking about.
Yeah, I'm better at conjuration than this, so.
And you were trying to learn you're trying to read expert level spells while you an apprentice.
Yep. So like
Basically.
you can get some of them, you can get the idea of what they're talking about when they're like, if there's a description of like the spell does this, and this, like you understand that part of it, but then it actually sometimes there are the arcane runes there, and you're like,
And stuff.
what?
The fuck does it mean? A molecular breakdown and reconstruction of the anatomy? What? Polymorph.
Yeah. But yeah, there's but you don't get a lot of information from the transmutation section because of that was a really low roll.
Yeah.
Charlie, who do you go find first?
So I'm on the fourth floor.
Yep.
I'll go to the third floor, just because I thought that's where he was going.
Okay. Sigurd, what are you doing?
But once I have finished my little project with making my notes, because I don't currently own a map.
Yep.
Actually, you guys wouldn't happen to sell current maps here at all?
No, we're a library.
I didn't know if you had an abundance.
Technically we do, but
I understand. Thank you very much.
if you would like, we can get you a map. What exactly are you looking for in your map?
Just having the continent and major cities would help. And then I can translocate and do the pinpoints of where these are on said map.
Do you want it brought here, or do you want us to send you to where you can pick it up yourself?
It would be easier if I went and picked it up myself.
And he reaches over and grabs a piece of paper and like scribbles directions on it.
So,
And he hands it over to you. And on the top of the paper, there's actually a letterhead. And it has the little iconography of the rook in the cage.
nice.
And wrote out next to it is the term, the Rook's Preserve.
The name of the library.
Yep.
She found it a little bit earlier.
I was still going through your
We're going through World Anvil, yo.
yeah.
Going through my world.
Could you point me in the direction of books on blacksmithing at all?
Blacksmithing and creating, that'll be your fourth floor.
Thank you very much. I give you a small bow. Because I know he's got to lock this anyways.
Yep. He locks it up behind you, and after a couple of minutes, he like comes up behind you on the stairs, and you can see as you get to the fourth floor, you can see Charlie and Whistle in a little cubicle to your right,
Nice.
going through books, and it is at the time that you're doing this. Charlie's got like a stack of books, and Whistle is sitting there with a single book in his hand. But you don't, it's one of those, you've got no idea what they're, but he takes you off to the left. And so blacksmithing. Exactly what are you looking for in that about it?
Um, Armaments, the different ways from eras and races of different forms of blacksmithing.
For armaments.
Yes, please.
As in weapons or armor?
Either, honestly.
Because you do have those that proficient in weapons, and he starts pulling like
Oh, nice.
there's tons of books that he starts sort of pulling them,
Mhm.
but they're not fully off the shelf,
Yes.
but they're. And he goes, and then you have those that are proficient in creating armor, and he pulls those at a different, and you can tell that he's very used to doing this, where one's pulled further than the other out of
So you can.
yeah.
Nice.
And he's going through it, and like he goes, and those are the ones I know about. I could go get a specialist for you if you'd like.
Oh no, this is wonderful. Thank you.
You've got about 50 books that he's,
Holy fuck! I'll go to the.
and that's one section.
Yeah. I'll go to the last of the armor.
Okay.
And thank you very much. Take down. If it's okay with you, I'd like to sit at the cubicle with my two compatriots.
Well, that's fine.
As I gently start sliding the books back to be nice at the library.
When you start doing that, I'll take care of this. And like, as soon as you start to like, it's yeah.
He's done this for years. I'll go happily with my little book. Sit down and just same thing as Whisper. Well,
After a couple of minutes, you see Whistle like fold the book up and then just sit there.
nice.
And Charlie gets up and is like does the interaction, and you see like Whistle hold the hand out and the book appear.
He was reading it while you were doing all that fun shit. Just- I'm just smiling ear to ear. Charlie can't see shit. She's leaned over paying. She got scammed. Lesson learned.
Nicola, it's been a couple of hours since you've last seen your compatriots.
I was going to try and look for in the index anything on like dwarven magic and elven magic specifically,
Ooh.
and yeah, basically usage on things like clockwork or whatever.
So, give me another investigation check.
Come on, dice. 12.
12. You're able to find two different books that instantly catch your attention about it. Both of them are pretty dry. They're in the general section of magic. They don't talk about a specific type. The dwarves have more stuff that deal with where they were making clockwork or golem type creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But theirs are more. Most of what theirs are like stone creatures or stuff like that. The elves do have a couple of them, but it's there's less of it. There is a book with a 12. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Alas.
But it does look like both of them do have technology, or not technology, but magical means of creating life from things that are not alive.
Gotcha.
But life needs things to live.
After that, I will sigh and put the books away and head back up to see where companions have
It
done their research.
As you get up to the fourth floor, you see Charlie and Sigurd are reading a book. A book. Charlie has a large pile of them at the desk that she's sitting at, whereas Sigurd is sitting with a single book.
And it's like holding this for Sigurd. Or Sigrid. Just,
So sorry, I keep missing.
you're good.
Yeah.
It's because of our damn video games.
That's not Sigurd is. I've also been watching a lot of Vikings and
Ah.
stuff, and Sigurd is a.
That's also brother's name.
Okay.
Yeah. In Valhalla.
Is it? Yeah.
Yep.
But Sigurd's reading a single book, and Whistle is just sitting there, nothing at his desk, and just like you when you come up, there's the cloak picks up, and it's this weird like floppy cloak wave.
Yeah. Oh,
Charlie
have y'all
doesn't
found
even
anything
realize that
useful?
her friends appeared next to her. She's too engulfed in reading.
Sigurd's gone through what he wants here. He's gonna go to put it back up and look for weapons of legend.
As you're getting up, that's when
Sweet.
Nicola's coming up.
Perfect timing.
Any luck with y'all?
I jump because I'm like, oh hi.
But what I was looking for? Yes.
The book that the gnome was talking about, and I recite the title and I tell them what I found out.
Sig does not like that at all. At fucking all.
I said it's either transmutation or dispelling magic, and it's a defensive thing, or
Well, I can tell you right now that in the magic section, there is a lot on transmutation, so it was really hard to narrow it down from research.
well, does my help heal?
We need details about what you found. You must suffer.
I don't like talking about it because it makes her uncomfortable realizing what they do to slaves.
But you don't know much about slaves. Remember?
Yeah, and I read that and I found out even more, and I was just like,
Rude awakenings.
well, they used the clockwork creatures to like torture slaves and make them do what they wanted.
Also, a hands-free approach.
And they also can use it for bombs to like destroy places.
That works with what we saw.
And it's caused they coerce the gnomes and the elves to work together and create. The gnomes were forced to create 2 creations, and then the elves were forced to make the creation one by magic means. But it's all the same from what everyone else was saying. It could be used for timer, defensive, etc., etc. But what stood out to me is the fact that they use it as a torture device.
I mean, it makes sense. Did you see the thing? It
Yeah,
was horrifying.
yeah, I didn't think they would use it like that.
All depends. If they're making 2 things into one, why can't one turn smaller than the other? Why can't that beetle turn into a minnow? It works. I unfortunately need to go to, and I pull out the little letter, to this place to show you exactly what I found.
Okay.
I need a map.
What did you look for?
Dwarven strongholds
Oh, okay.
in
That's not a
around
bad idea.
I looked for any that were on the continent, and then I saw two maps. One of a recent, one that looks like ours, that only had 3 on it. One in Taberald, one in Bastio, one in Barris.
So, the one that was really old,
Yes.
this section of the
The waste hadn't blown up yet.
right here,
Yeah.
was a
Solid
Like,
landmass.
there's a solid landmass there. There's also more landmass over here,
So some of it went underwater.
Global warming.
and some of the lakes aren't there that were, and then this section right here also wasn't completely underwater.
So it's like Pangea.
Global warming happened. Huh.
Did it look like the two little islands were connected to each other at some point?
Oh, the two
Two different continents were.
bits here.
Yeah.
That's not on the map
Oh.
that he was looking at. He was only looking at a map of Tyria.
What is
Uh-oh.
funny is that the larger of the Lefrays looks like it sticks directly into Barris and Lumbridge. Looks like it just goes like a puzzle piece. Sorry, I just thought that was kind of cool.
Huh.
We just
Yeah,
threw things at the board at one point, and then it just worked. And then, I'll be damned.
yeah. I was about to say I didn't even when I did that originally. I didn't.
Oh, dude. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, I didn't notice that when I did those originally.
That's cool. But the older one, I found those same 3 strongholds, but then there were a couple others on the map as well. The 2 that have stuck out to me was the one in Taberald, and then one that's not all that far from where I'm from.
Where were you?
Where are you from?
You've been there.
I know, but
I'm from how many days travel is a hex on the paper map? Isn't it like 25 miles across is each hex, or is it more than that? No, it's
No,
250.
It's more than that. No, it's not 250.
Oh.
How many days in a hex? So. It's 3 days per hex.
About a 10-day from Cress, which would put, as a rough estimate, would I know how far away it would have been from East Hollow?
Do I? You've got no idea
Gotcha.
because you couldn't.
Yeah, I
Like-
couldn't see exactly, and it's a different map. That mountain range might not have been noted, anything like that.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I can't tell you exactly how far away the ruins are from where I used to live, but some of the people there might know. I know it's north of it, though. Well, it should be north of it. Either that or it's right in the mountains. But my
Wouldn't be a
original...
bad place to have a base of operations if you're wanting to terrorize people in the city.
Exactly. The other thing that stuck out is dealing with everything from these being created mainly in Ditch. The closest dwarven stronghold there is the one in Taberald. And Ditch, the biggest slave port on this continent. Wouldn't be that hard to get elves and gnomes. And if you need anything, you can find it in Soldier.
Well, that's a little strange.
Hey, Boomer, I sent you a message.
Yeah, I got it.
Um, so I would think that
I informed the college.
we should
that see-
check out something closer than going all the way to Titch from here.
Oh, yes, please. I don't want to go there at all.
We might have to.
You guys have fun. You won't be sold.
Yeah, I might be.
I'm a lot more likely than you.
So I guess let's go get this map.
Yes, please. Open up directions.
So he sends you to a place that is called Cole's Emporium,
Cole's important. Nice.
and
Thank you, Saint Cole.
Yep.
Wait, are we gonna get to meet Cole?
no.
Damn.
Inside is a gentleman that does not look anything like what the saint is supposed to look like. This guy is very thin and slender,
This guy's Saint Kale.
and he welcome to Cole's Emporium, maps extraordinaire.
Yes, thank you. We were sit here by the Rooks Preserve.
Right.
I am in need of a map.
A map of where?
I need a map mostly of just diarrhea. But do you also have old maps for reference as well?
Maybe around this region.
Older maps cost a lot more.
I have notes about the points that I'm looking for.
Yes.
It's translocating them on a newer map.
That would be something that you would have to do yourself,
Exactly.
or find a good cartographer to do it.
Yes, true. I was wondering though if you had older maps to help with the referencing.
We can definitely get you an older map. An older map, and he like goes over, and he's got all these cubbies, and he climbs up a ladder, and he pulls out of a cubby. He goes, a map like this, and he sets it down, and it's got most of Tyria on it, but it's missing like a few sections, and the sections that are missing, you can tell the map's been torn and stuff like that. He goes, this one will run you 200 gold.
But is this one roughly the same age as the one I saw before?
No, this is newer.
Oh, newer. Gotcha. I think
Maybe
we'll just
something more local and not so.
yeah, something quite a bit newer.
Okay, and he rolls it up
I'm sorry.
and like climbs up the ladder again and puts it down. He goes, "You're still wanting all of Tyria, or
All of Tyria, or if you have one of just Mercius.
I could do both.
How much would both run?
Do you want a original, or do you want a transcription?"
Which one's cheaper?
She said that out loud.
The transcriptions are cheaper.
Transcription, please.
And then the next thing is, do you want it to be, how new do you want it to be?
100 years.
Anything within the last 50 to 100 hasn't
He-
changed that much from what it is now.
He pulls two maps,
Mhm.
and both of these are, like, when he unrolls them, the paper is got a little bit of frayed edges, but it
Still
looks...
pretty crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one is strictly the area of Cress and like the surrounding areas,
Mhm.
and you do see off to the northeast at the very edge of Mercius, you do see the start of the waste on it.
Mhm.
And then the other one, it has an estimate of what the waste looks like of all of Tyria and so forth.
Mhm.
So it is new enough that the waste is included in it.
Okay.
And he, these two maps together will be 100 gold.
Oh shit.
I figured you would have been making money though.
I'm also not the one that needs to be buying anything.
Because I have 8 gold.
I will not be able to afford both.
This one, and he pulls the Mercius map up. This one's 25.
Damn it.
We're just poor.
Yeah, we're just poor.
Well, I can't fucking ask him to do half off his map.
I can't help you
Damn.
there. I don't have very good persuasion.
Yeah, no, no.
I'm sorry. I'm not able to afford it.
Maybe. What is your range?
I have 12 gold.
12 gold to your whole name.
Yes. I am a blacksmith, if that helps.
He rolls the two maps up and like pockets them,
Mhm.
and he pulls out one map and like sets it down.
It's a map of Cress.
No, it
Oh.
is a map of Mercia. It is very, very rough.
Okay.
I don't know how accurate this is. It was brought in. I'm not sure who drew it either. There was some complications. It has goblin on it, and then it has common on it, and then there's some Athoran on it, and we even have like dialect Tabarold exact and Mercian exact, but it's nothing really is correct. And when he unravels it and shows it to you, it does show like compared to the maps you've already seen, Cress is not in the dead center of Mercia at all.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, it's got Mercia with Cress in the dead center of it.
Gotcha. This one was not drawn correctly.
Because Mercia does not, in any shape, form, or fashion, have Cress in the center of it.
It is still better than nothing.
Yes, and this will be 10 gold.
I hand over 10 gold.
He takes the 10, counts it out again, puts it into a pouch, and I'm sorry that's the best I could do. For all the other maps, and it is like all the other maps he was pulling you out for you, they were all colored and like highly detailed.
Yeah.
Whereas this is definitely a crude, like black and white. Somebody took ink and drew it on, and it is an approximation of it.
I'm sorry that I could not afford a better one.
Oh, it's not my fault that you couldn't afford a better one. It's other things. And as long as you get what you need.
Thank you very much.
If you ever need a more better up-to-date map, you know where to come.
If for some reason you need more cartographer tools, if you need different kind of tools, as long as they have metal in them, I can make them for you.
I am not the cartographer myself. This is just my store where I have cartographers bring me maps
I
to
was
sell.
hoping that he was the main cartographer.
And I also am the one that takes some of the older maps and transcribe them onto another piece of parchment, and such as the ones that I showed you. They're not originals; they're my designs, and my time and my inking.
Understand. Thank you very much, sir.
Good luck.
This is Cole's... What again?
Emporium.
Okay, Cole's Emporium. Thank you. I go ahead and head on out.
I'm gonna say Cole's Emporium Map Store.
Yep. Cole's Emporium. Magnificent. Many maps. Many magnificent maps. There we go.
There you go.
Many magnificent, masterful maps.
So, where do you guys want to go?
What time is it now?
It's getting late now because you guys spent a lot of time in the library. You've traveled through town.
Nap time.
I think we're in need for more than just a nap. It's getting late.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suppose a paper bird has returned.
No.
Out of curiosity, the map that I have,
You've got a
is
fuck.
it any better detailed, or is that just a rough, hey, it's over this direction?
I'm gonna kill your character.
Thing is, I can make a map for you.
I'm gonna kill you too.
To be fair,
Somebody's head's
Sure,
getting
I'll
bashed
tell
in
you that.
32 minutes. We even walked in and I said I needed a map. You didn't say anything.
I figured you did.
you didn't ask what kind of map you were needing.
You heard me talking.
You
Oh,
didn't
I
ask
get
him
it. I get it. I
specifically.
understand. I'm not a human. I get it. I understand.
Wow.
Uh,
Well, I don't talk to you damn wizards.
the map you have is not it's detailed for a location, but not detailed for all of Mercius or anything like that.
But like, would it be around the region around Cress?
It's not even the full region around Cress. It's more along the lines of just that area specifically. And the only reason that you know it's northwest of Cress that your map leads is because it shows Cress in the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah. Okay. So I pull out my map and I show it to Sieg and say, well, it's not a detail, it's not what you were looking for.
Well,
But I have this map.
if you guys need something, I can make the map for you by drawing it.
Do you know the world?
If you give me pictures, I might be able to make it.
No, that's actually exactly what I needed. For less than 10 gold.
Here's 5.
He gives you 5 gold.
No, keep your money. I earn my money by services. Get your mind out of the gutter, woman. I can't wait to see
Again.
that face on YouTube.
I did not know that's what region you were looking for specifically.
Oh,
You see that you were going for wider, so my map does not have wider.
it's Sieg still doesn't know you that well, so it's understandable because
Right.
he never said the direction outside of the city. He did say it was north of where he
Yeah.
lived. So it could have been northeast, it could have been northwest, dead north, it could have been anywhere.
Right.
Actually, if you does his map have the mountain range?
Yes.
This is actually where I used to be from, and about 10 days travel to the west of Cress, there's a small mountain range, and not too far up, it's either right near the mountain or in it or up, was the stronghold that was on the very old map that is no longer mapped. Or that is no longer on the current one.
Does the directions on my map or whatever seem to lead in that same direction or off elsewhere?
No, they lead in similar direction.
Can't wait for us to
Well, then
find
we
our
may be in
parents'
luck.
corpses in the stronghold.
Do what?
Could you repeat that,
I
please?
just said we may be in luck.
Convenience is key. I think we have a place to go now.
Bedtime?
Obviously, there needs to be bedtime. But another issue. There's 3 of those beetles out in the city, and they explode. That's a danger. Should we let authorities know? Did Bjark say he wanted them back?
Mm-hmm.
Or he just wanted to know where they were from?
Find out why clockwork beetles have been popping up.
Find out why they keep popping up and find out the origin of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would say
So we don't actually have to find the beetles, which would be a near impossible
just need to
task.
know where they're coming from.
Yes. And why. But
I would say we send a report and see if he wants us to let the authorities know, and if not, then let him know we have a direction.
yes, we have a good guess right now. Well,
I guess in the report, just say, would he like us to meet before we journey out? Just to make sure there wasn't anything else that we need to be aware of, or
We could probably do that.
call signs we need to not.
Report?
Mm.
Whistle does like this weird like hand salute thing, and he tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
sounds good.
Where?
Shit, where are we gonna meet?
We can meet at his house where Nicola is sitting.
Yeah, we could meet where you stay. We don't know where he stays.
Where is it you stay?
I can't see it from here.
It is called the Hole.
The whole, yeah. I'll give a description of where it's at.
Right.
Whistle. Okay.
We meet at the Hole. We journey from there. Time for a good night's sleep.
So, let me get this straight. You guys are planning to leave the city of Cress and go out into the mountains to try to find a dwarven stronghold that might or might not be there.
Pretty much, man.
Well, again, that's why I was saying let's talk to our guy and see
Yeah.
if that. Yeah.
We talk to the
Talk
guide
to the woman
first.
first.
We meet at the hole first.
Okay.
We're meeting at the hole. We will be talking to
Bjorn.
Lord Bjark
Mm-hmm.
first.
Okay. So you all split ways and go back to your
Respected homes.
Yeah.
respected
Domiciles.
I wouldn't consider where Nicola is staying at home.
Not respected at all.
I mean, the name tells you all.
And the next morning, for Nikolai, when you wake up, you get a very strong odor coming into your room.
Bird shit.
It's meat.
And when you open the door, there is Crusher cooking,
Mhm.
and he's
That's what
Oh,
I'm talking about.
breakfast. And like he takes the pan that he's holding over the fire and brings it over and like throws a plate down and then like ladles what is some sort of slop into it.
Ew.
Mm.
He crushed all the meat and eggs together. There's also porridge and grits together.
And he good breakfast. And he goes back and starts like continuing to like keep keep the other stuff warm. And
There also
it
might be a piece of cigar.
smells
Awful.
awful.
Seasoned with cigar ash.
No, he's not smoking while doing it.
Yeah, he dropped this entire cigar in it.
I can imagine him doing that and just going on and this.
That'd probably be dinner, but that's
Do I need to make a constitution?
Needs
saving throw to
brandy.
eat this?
Are you actually gonna eat it?
I will attempt to.
Okay. As you start to take your first couple of bites, it tastes better than it smells. And then all of a sudden, it just starts to burn. And your mouth feels like it's on fire. There are so many spices and peppers in it that you were not prepared. And it is like a mad
That
dash
is what
for
I am
ale or
talking
whatever
about.
that you can find to try to like make it quit.
There's smoke coming out of your ears.
Yeah.
Fuck
Reaper
Vegan
inside
Crusher.
this thing?
I'm Crusher's bro now.
And as you're like taking the drink of water, Crusher starts laughing. And he, haha, you haven't figured it out yet. This is best. And he like ladles more onto your plate. And like ladles some onto another plate, and then like sits down. And at this, like Whistle comes out of one of the rooms and sits down and looks at what is that. Like you can tell that the hood looks at both plates, and he gets up and grabs an apple and sits back down, and the apple disappears into the hood.
The reason it is best is because you have to have ale while eating it, so you have an excuse to get drunk in the morning. That's a big brain move right there. That's a 6-head play. Fuck a 5-head, that's a 6-head.
But like he starts eating it, and it is watching an orc like pour this gritty like soup like substance into his mouth and just not even think about it. It's awkward, especially with you now knowing how hot it is, and it's not phasing him at all.
Right.
He made curry porridge with extra hot.
Yeah,
Carolina Reapers inside of it.
exactly.
Delicious.
How long am I gonna feel this burn?
Probably for the next 3 days while it works through your digestive tract.
Oh,
For
when it
you?
comes out.
You're tiny. Maybe long. Maybe not.
It's gonna come out the other end really aggressively.
That's what I'm fucking talking about. Yes.
After a couple of minutes of you sitting there, like, poking at your porridge, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
Not down that shit, man.
there's a knock on the door, and Crusher gets up and, like, peeks through a... This is your first time to look, but there's actually a little hole off to the side of the door that he sort of looks through that you didn't recognize before, but on this side of the door, it's more prominent. And he turns and looks back. You expecting guests?
The ones you played poker or played that card game with, yes.
Okay. And he opens the door. He breakfast?
What are you offering?
Yes.
Sure.
And, like, when he says yes, like, the grin on an orc, it's disturbing to see, like, this huge grin pop up.
I'd love some.
You will?
I think I'm just gonna have a
Me and Crusher are bros, yo.
He,
Because I smell it, I'm just like,
oh, yeah. And it is, like, it permeates to where you can smell it outside on the...
You've had Goliath Village food. About the same. This one has spices in it, though.
What is Goliath Village food?
Bland as fuck.
Oh, then yeah, I just smell it and I'm just like repulsed immediately.
It smells like you're home. It smells like you're home.
Pretty much.
Delicacy.
But he, Crusher lets you in, shuts the door, and, like, locks it behind you guys. And he, like, throws down 2 plates. Even though you said you didn't want any. And he slops 2 ladles onto it. One onto each plate. And he... Eat!
I go to town. Oh, I know it's gonna burn like a motherfucker, but I go to town.
I will take 1 bite because I have to mind my manners.
Oh no, I'm with Crusher right now. There's nobody else important.
I try it, and
I'm working on
Again,
that
with the
bite.
same...
I push over an L.
Yeah, as soon as you take the 1 bite, and you're like, oh, it's actually... It is. It's the same thing of, like, it's not that bad. Oh, ha, ha!
Last time you saw Sieg sweating this hard, his hand was way too close to the forge. He was too close to the forge. Oh, it's good though. I'm working on that fire resistance.
I take the L you offer me and I start drinking it. Turn it up.
Oh, this is not
Yeah,
good.
put my plate towards Sieg and go and grab a freaking piece of bread and an apple.
Oh, that's what I'm fucking talking about.
After a couple of minutes, one of the other, like, another person comes out, and it is a human, and they look around and they... Kasha cook? Ugh.
Yeah. Reminds me of home.
Kasha, if you need me, you know how to find me. And they, like, instantly go to the door, unlock it, and shut it behind them.
I don't give a shit. Me and Crusher bros now. There's a little flame and some smoke coming out. I stack the plates, take them over, start washing. Oh, that was good.
Whistle does the whistle, and Crusher looks over and, what are you talking about? And Bird calls a little bit more, and oh, them. They don't understand! And he, like, pops Whistle on the head, and, like, you watch the cloak sort of, like,
So it is a
collapse a little bit and then like reform.
It is an animated cloak.
And he words and whistle report and like puts a piece of paper on the table that's folded.
Oh, this was our reply.
Mm.
I'm washing dishes.
Oh, if you start to try to get up for that,
Oh.
Crusher stops you.
Okay. Because I stacked Nicholas' plate on mine after I finished off his. I had 2 servings, man. Oh shit, there's a third. No, I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna push it.
Oh, there's still like the pan. There's still a lot more in there. So it is one of those. If you're willing to try to ask, you.
I'm more worried about overfilling. Because I don't want this coming back up. It's already gonna suck 3 hours from now on the road.
It's gonna be well on the road.
Dude, it's gonna be like because I don't want to say brand names, man.
Oh.
It's gonna be like one of those, like after you go at 3 a.m. because it's the only thing open after a bar trip.
Oh. Yeah, you can say Taco Bell.
Okay. It's gonna be like Taco Bell at like 3 in the morning, but then you wake up the next day and you've had whiskey all night. It's gonna be one of those expeditions.
So is this report to report, or is this our response back?
Open it and read it and find out.
Yeah,
Well, who did he give the paper to? Did
He
give
just-
it to Crusher or
he
one
just-
of us?
he just laid it out.
Yeah, he put it on the table.
Open it up.
Read.
I do. I try to read.
It's in common.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a. It basically. It says, "Thank you for taking the time to do this. We still need to know where they are in the city. Who's making them? Why are they here? Any more information will be great." And it's got the Lord's signature on the bottom.
Okay.
Alright.
So here's something to think about.
Yes.
So they're in the city.
We know that the barracks do not would not make something without their stamp on it, but if their thing is to try and kill, why would they put their name?
True, true.
But if you think about it, anybody who's a proud crafter is still gonna stamp. And maybe
Not
they're
if you're
getting
trying to
sold
kill
to
people.
somebody else.
But serial killers leave their signature all the time.
We don't know what serial killers are.
Bet.
So, do we have to explore the town some more and try and...
We have to find the fucking beetles now.
We need to start asking around and see if anybody's seen those kind of bugs.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go find Ringo and Paul. Those were the only 2 I could think of.
That took me
And
a
I
minute.
missed a third.
George and John.
Thank you. We
George-
gotta find Ringo, Paul, and George. John exploded.
That's so bad.
That's so mean.
Oh shit.
You just now realized.
Yes. I feel so bad. Oh god.
The look on his face, the pure...
The pure instant regret after like, oh fuck. Because it was, I named it off in order, and that was the last one there.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna leave now. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Oh, good.
Oh man.
that's where we're gonna call it for this week. Anyway.
Oh no. Don't end it on that.
Oh, he's gonna.
Yeah, because it's already that time of night.
That's on the internet forever now.
Now everyone knows how truly horrible you are.
Yeah, and it wasn't even on purpose.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like and subscribe button. Come on over to Twitch, hit that follow button. That way you can join us live whenever we're doing D&D or any other games. Thank you so much. I'm Shinigami Tavris, also known as Boomer. I hope you have a wonderful day or wonderful night wherever you are. And until next time, everyone, peace.